Hey rockers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to make some more of the oil diffusers for cars, and this is an updated version. I had used a pre-made base, which does fine, but I wasn't really happy with it, so I wanted to make my own, and I've been kind of messing around with it off and on for the last little bit, and I think I came up with something that works. I would have done this video earlier, but when I got my formula perfected, it was just handwritten, and oil had got on the paper and I didn't know it. And when I went back to do the video to make some more, all of the ink was gone. So I had to completely start over. So advice, please, when you have something that you have worked and worked and worked on and you have it just right, don't be careless with it. It's worth a lot. So it's okay to have handwritten notes, but you need to make sure and have that somewhere else also. Another copy of it, maybe in a database, just something. Take a picture of your handwritten copy with your phone, so you have more than one copy. Anyway, so I wanted to show you, when I get these bottles, this is the way they come. They come in one of these boxes. They come completely wrapped up in their bubble wrap like this. It's really nice. It's really nice. Because I have bought these bottles before and they're just a mess. And you have to go in and try to pull those little stoppers out of each bottle. And that is a pain in the butt, let me tell you. But now these come in a bag. They are individually in their own little plastic bags. But if you can see, the stopper is already pulled out of them. So, I mean, that to me, that's worth gold. But the fact that they're in these little bags, I just use these to package mine back in. I mean, there's no point in wasting these. So, yeah, you just open them up. There's the little stopper. And these are my little skull bottles, which I just love. See? And then you fill it up, put the stopper back in, and then I just put it right back in that bag with a label. And there you go. I will say this though. Go ahead and take the time to go through these and separate them out. My husband did this for me. I think I can show you. But it's worth it if you go ahead and take them all out, put your bags on one side, and then have your bottles just loose in here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I have a little container for the stoppers, and then I keep all the little lids right here. Trust me, if you take the time to do that, you will thank me for it. When you do it that way, and I'll show you what I do after I make my oil, I put it down in these plastic bottles so I can keep them made up in bulk. And if I have my boxes already ready to go, then it literally takes me seconds to pull out a bottle, fill it up, get it all ready, and there you go. Okay, so a little bit about my formula. Okay, this is what I did use. A Reed diffuser base. Like I said, you can use it. It's not a problem. I knew I could get a better performance out of my products. There was some fragrances I had it just would not mix with this. I didn't care. I tried using Poly 20. I tried using Poly 80. I could not get the fragrances to mix with this. Now, of course, the fragrances that I was getting were sold by a different supplier than Wholesale Supplies Plus. That's who I got this from. So I just started making my own. Now I use this, and there's nothing wrong with this, It's ethanol. It's what you use to make hand sanitizer out of. It's 190 proof. It does smell like alcohol, I think. Um, it's made to where if you drink it, it's really nasty. It's bitter. So this is what it's for, is products like this. But it does still have a smell. So I found this, and this is ethyl alcohol. It's 99.5% pure, denatured, 200 proof. Now this one I don't think smells like alcohol. I mean, there is an alcohol smell, but it's not as prevalent as it is in this one. So I've been using this. We're going to see how it goes. Propylene glycol, I use that, and dipropylene glycol. I don't know how you pronounce that. It's DPG, PG, PA. I go ahead. I on my recipes, I have it all initials, and I initial this PA for perfumer's alcohol. I don't know if this is technically perfumer's alcohol or not, but it's easier to just put PA. Okay. So, all right, let's get into this and stick around to the end, and I want to give you my final thoughts on this. See you later. So here we have a regular bottle, and I've been using more skull bottles than regular bottles, but you know, different people like different things. And I was looking, and they have so many different types of these now. I want to try them all. They have like heart-shaped ones and colored ones, and they look like, you know, different gemstones and some flowers. And I mean, there's just so many different bottles that I would like to try. But my biggest bestseller, that would be the skull bottles. Um, that is the dye that I use, just a very teeny tiny amount. It does not take much at all. I use a toothpick, or I've got some wooden skewers that I just kind of scrape around in the very top of that bottle to color these, because it's one drop of wax will color a ton. I mean, oh my goodness, one drop of dye will color a ton of wax. So it doesn't take much for this at all. And I wish I would have got a better shot of this. That's my setup for this. And I've got all of my ingredients on the inside of that toolbox, and then all along the outside, I have my different fragrances all ready to go. And I can keep my book of my labels that you'll see a little bit later on in that. And it just, I don't know, it's cool. It's mobile. And that's what I use when I make up a large amount of this. I think that's a 4-ounce bottle. Yeah, I believe it is. And that'll fill up a ton of those little diffuser bottles. These are, I think, 2-ounce bottles. And what I'd like to do is make refills, but I haven't, that's in the works. I haven't quite got that done yet. I haven't been able to work on it, but that's my plan. But if you have a scent that you're not real sure about, just make up a little bit of it and try it. There's no, you know, right way to mix it or wrong way to mix it. I always start with the perfumer's alcohol or the PA first. And you just want to go easy. Easy does it. And then you have your DPG, and I use the PG, and then I add in the fragrance. Now, the DPG and the PG, one will cause the fragrance to stick around a little bit longer, and the other one causes it to evaporate a little bit quicker. So it's supposed to make it strong and long lasting. That's the whole point of the formula, is to try to get that just right. And there, see, I'm just, the very tip of the toothpick has that dial on it. And that's what I'm using there. It doesn't take much at all. And I just take masking tape and put on that bottle.
You do still have to be a little careful so you don't, spill that everywhere, but that's not bad at all. You can go through there and as many little bottles as you have, you can get them filled up. It takes no time. No time whatsoever. Oh, Butterfingers. When you're making things for people to sell, it's like those skull bottles. Like I said, they're my best seller. That's what I prefer. Not everybody likes a skull bottle. So people who like skull bottles, they'll still use a regular bottle, right? If you're out. But people who don't like a skull bottle, if you're out of regular bottles, they're not going to buy a skull bottle. So just keep that in mind. Um, I do both. I do skulls and regular. See how nice and organized that is? My husband did that for me, and it makes it so easy to go through and get these done. And that's the little bags that they come wrapped in. So we're not wasting the plastic bags. They're getting used twice. So to me that's a win. These are some baseball card holders I had bought for my son years ago, and they're perfect for holding my labels. I don't know, they're super organized, and I can see what I have and what I need, and I just print my label on the front there. That is a type of brochure paper. And then on the back, I print the instructions on how to use it and the warning and the ingredients and all that good stuff. So it does double duty there. And then, you can just smoke right through this. So you just throw all your pieces together and, you know, as many bottles and as much oil as you have, you can just knock these out. Lord, it's hard to tell how many you could get done in, say, an hour. I mean, it's just, and something else you could, oh, that's one bad thing about those cheap plastic bags. Sometimes the side splits out of them, and it makes me angry. No big deal. I've got one of those little sealer things that you can seal plastic bags with, fix it right up. But doing things this way, you could actually take your toolbox full of your different fragrances and your empty bottles and your labels to your event with you and not have to have them all made up, but make them up on the spot if you chose to do that. Um, it just all depends on how you like to roll.
Okay, so a couple of things. This is what I use to color my wax melts and my oil diffusers. I love these colors, but the blue, when it gets out in the sunlight, it will suck the color right out. I know there's some kind of a stabilizer I can get to add into it, but honestly, I don't want to. To me, that's just more money, and I don't want to have to charge that for it. So I just want to let you know that this is what it looks like when you use this, your blue. It's so pretty, isn't it? It's so pretty and blue. And then after it's been in the sun for a while, ugh, still fine, but the color does get sucked out. So that's just something to keep in mind. If that bothers you, you can absolutely still use micas to color this. And it doesn't take a lot. So if you have like some just crazy little baggies left, maybe some samples or something, use that. I've got this. I think this came from Brambleberry. You can get it pretty much anywhere. The reason I stopped using mica is as far as I'm concerned, it's messier, and the mica tends to want to settle in the bottom of the bottle. The reason that I don't like to use mica is that it's messy and it settles on the bottom. So this has to be shaken up regularly to keep the mica from sticking to the bottom of the bottle. That's the only issue I've found with it. And I have not found where sunlight messes with the color of these, in my experience. Okay, now, that. Also, I forgot to mention that if you're making these to sell, you're going to want some testers, so somebody can do that. That is the ultimate sniff test. This is the way I do my testers. I just take one. This is Butt Naked. This is, I printed this on cardstock and then laminated it. Okay. Now, when you do these, the only thing is when they are on display or when you have them stored. Like say I don't have an actual store. I sell things from my home, and then I do events. I set up vendor booths. I have one display in my local bank, okay? So when you have these out or stored, you don't want them to touch each other. You don't want the ropes to touch each other. You don't want the lids to touch each other. You don't want them to touch each other. Because if someone is in there and they're shaking them, and they're shaking them, and they're shaking them, well, all of that just got put up into the cap here is eventually going to work its way down these little ropes. And if you have two of them that are being shaken, and then you set them together, those fragrances are going to mix, and it does not smell good. If you have one fragrance that's stronger than the other, it will come in here and take over your tester. I found this out from experience. I wasn't even thinking. I kept mine in these little boxes. And then I had them stored. I pulled them out to go do my event, and they smelled absolutely horrendous. All the fragrances had mixed, and all of my testers were ruined. So I just keep these little plastic bags here. I know there's a better way to do this, but you know, I'm not going to go spend money on something like this. Not right now. There's other things that I would rather invest my money in right now. So, beggars can't be choosers. You do what you got to do, and you make things work. So it's just a plastic bag. I'll write the name of it. I try to keep the top of it kind of sealed. You still want to make sure when you are transporting these that when you put it down in your bag and you flip it over and you tape it, you still have the bottle setting up right in your box. Because I had one fall over and that was a mess. So just save yourself a lot of heartache. Make sure that your bottles are upright. Make sure that they are kind of isolated from the other bottles. And also, I do highly, highly recommend laminating, because I didn't do that at first. And when your little rope would get up next to your label, it would just soak that oil right up, and then you had a mess. So, and these just look nice. When I have mine out, I make a display out of that, and I have each one hanging with its rows. And then these are hanging at the very top. So anybody wants to come by and grab one and sniff it, they can. Was there anything else? No. Okay, so just let me know if you have any questions. Please reach out to me. Leave them in the comment. By the way, if you like the video, please like it and help it to reach more people. And just comment. Share it. Whatever you get up to today, I hope it's an awesome day. And just remember, Sud, Sense, and rock and roll. Thanks for watching.